In Part 4 of this API testing series, we will look at SOAPSonar success criteria and how you can create rules to evaluate test responses and indicate pass or fail for the expected behavior of APIs. We will use the Swagger Pet Store API, as we've done in the previous videos in this series. We will start by creating a new API test case for the operation to add a pet into the pet store. We will give this pet an identifier of 5678 with category 1 and category name dog. The name of the pet will be Abby and the status set to available. The form view shows our entries for creating this operation entry. To see the raw JSON, click on JSON view to see that SOAPSonar populates the values that are going to be sent off to the API. Once the settings are complete, we will press send to invoke the API and get a response. Now that we have created a pet in the pet store, let's build a get operation API to retrieve the pet that was added. To do this, we will use the getPetById operation and create a test case and set the pet ID to 5678 and replace the open API references to pet ID. Now that the test case is ready, we will invoke the API to get a response. Reviewing the response shows it has the data that we expect. Now we want to define success criteria rules where we can configure SOAPSonar to automatically analyze the response and set the test case to pass or fail. The success criteria rule framework is found on the Success Criteria tab. Here you can create all types of rules and scenarios ranging from environment analysis, custom functions using JavaScript or VB script, evaluating documents using granular node extraction, or using regex, checking schema compliance, or inspecting header values. All of these rules enable creating a set of criteria that can assess whether the test case was a pass or a fail. We will use the XPath, which automatically converts to JSON path for JSON documents, as the matching mechanism for granularly inspection node value isolation for inspection and evaluation. We could do an entire document comparison, or choose fragment to isolate values and compare them. For this example, we will use a few different target values. We'll select the ID value node of 5678 to build the path rule to extract that node value. We will also select the name element to match that value. When we run this test as API call, we expect to receive a response whereby the criteria rules we create are a match function rule on 5678, and we could do different kinds of expression syntax here, such as contains does not contain, enumeration, range, and more. In this case, we'll just do a simple string comparison, but we can do many other more complex rules if needed. We'll also another rule to check the HTTP response code rule and set it to HTTP 200. There's a lot of different ways to set the rules and test them to see whether these rules succeed against the current saved response, such as invoke test and evaluate. When this is selected, we can see that our rules do get evaluated as pass, so it looks like we have configured them properly. The other features here are things like a global rule where you can define these success criteria globally and link them here so that the rules are easily repeatable. Those rules can be found under the project level configuration tree policy settings area. Configuration policy settings are where project-level criteria rules can be defined and linked. You can also import and export rules to store and bring in for other projects. This is a versatile framework to define all kinds of different matching and analysis scenarios for determining the success of a test case scenario. To run this test scenario, we will switch to Run View, drag our test case to the Test Suite group. This will often be a series of tests in our test suite that we want to run. For simplicity, this video will just run a single test case in QA mode, which is the functional validation mode. Once the test suite is run, The runtime monitor will appear for showing the test progress and rule evaluation status. Once complete, we can click on the button to go to Report View. Here we can see our results have been written to the designated result file, and when selecting the file we can review the success case, results that results in a pass or fail. The Success Criteria Evaluation tab will show the results of the rules analyzed against a live response. In this example, we can see that our 3 values pass, and thus our actual test case result is a pass. This concludes the brief demonstration of the SOAPSonar Success Criteria rules.